Good evening, and we welcome you to all of you, Kolkata Center for Creativity. Before start, I would like to introduce our center. It is a multidisciplinary interactive art center located in Kolkata. As a cultural organization, KCC considers environment friendly sustainability as one of its primary responsibility. To endorse and develop sustainability, we often organize series of programs, exhibitions, seminars, and performances under indigenous wisdom. These help us to develop better understanding and interpretation of societal aspects in an interactive way. We have today Indigenous Wisdom Session 4. Today's conversation will be on sustaining the bamboo craft, integral cultural heritage of Lepcha community, which is vanishing under the evasive nature of globalization and modern development. We have two distinguished invited speakers who would enrich us with their knowledge regarding this field. I would therefore like to introduce the speakers of today's program to the audience. Mr. Odal Kumar Ben is an anthropologist by profession. As a researcher, he has been exposed to various fields to different parts of India as well as involved in various research projects in various organizations of India. He has also contributed effectively in the field of visual anthropology and directed a number of documentary films under the auspices of the Anthropological Survey of India and other organizations. Currently, he is serving as a faculty of the Department of Anthropology, Guwahati University, Assam. Ms. J.J. Lepcha is a popular social worker in North Sikkim. She is a member of Lepcha community. She has contributed effectively for the development of Lepcha culture as well as women empowerment. Currently, she is engaged with many activities related to their culture. Now, I would like to invite Ms. Rina Dewan, Director, Kolkata Center for Creativity, to moderate this session. She is President of ICOM India, Board Member of ICOM Intercom. Ms. Dewan can most rightly be identified as a committed art administrator and leader who elevated her work to a level of artistry effortlessly for multidisciplinary and applied art. She has been spearheading many projects in KCC to promote research and development of different disciplines of art that leads to a volumetric and qualitative impact not only in the art field but to the society and young artists and performers. She has received three prestigious fellowships: Australia Council International Leadership Program, Art Think South Asia, and International Society for Performing Arts USA, and of Emerging Scholar Award from Ground Research Networks. She has presented papers on travels grants in museum conferences on various international platforms that gives her vision an immediate global perspective. Over to you, Rina ma'am.
Thank you so much, Moshmi, for the introduction. And we're really delighted to have this conversation today because despite the network issues, despite the travel bans, we are able to interact with each other and work together. That is actually a blessing. I would like to definitely thank Dr. JJ, who managed to shift her location so that she could be live today and actually can surpass the internet issues. Varel, thank you so much for being part of this conversation. We would like to start the conversation from the very basic question because not everybody in the audience is aware of the lecture community. So I would like to ask JJ, you, if you can tell a bit about the origin of lecture community.
Okay. Um, Before going to know something about the origin of Lepcha community, may I introduce you all with what Lepcha actually is. Lepcha is an indigenous tribal community of Sikkim, and we have our own. We have our own independent culture, tradition, language, costume, scripts, and our own way of life. The uniqueness in our tribe is that we are too close with the nature and the environment, and we believe ourselves as an offspring of nature. So when I have to come to the Lepcha peoples are specially found in Sikkim and Darjeeling district of West Bengal. Besides, some of the Lepchas are even found living in Western Mechi division of Nepal and Bhutan also. So when I have to talk about the origin of Lepcha people, some of the scholars or the researchers, according to their studies, they says that Lepchas has been migrated from the different, the South Asian path like Mongolia, Burma, something like that. But we have our own belief of our origination. As per the story of origination, it is believed that the mother creator, whom we call as Idbumu, mother creator has created, after creating the ocean, and then upon that ocean, she placed the, what do you call, the king of earthquake. Then upon the earthquake, she placed the land. Then after that, created the mountains and the forests, rocks and everything. And among this, she first created her first son in the form of her first son as Mount Kanchenjunga. We call it Kingsum Zongbuchu. In the lap of that Mount Kanchenjunga, she had created a very special place, a very holy type, a special place called Mayal Muluk Liang. And after that, she created two, one first male and a female, and send them to Mayal Liang with the instruction that they should not meet with each other on the way before they reach to the place. But on the way, they have to stay on the way. They have to stay in a place called Nahor Natal De, where these two persons, they got some close intimacy, and through this close intimacy, they had given birth to number of children. So with the fear of God, to know about their mistake, they thrown their children into the forest, into the den, and they grows up, leaking their limbs and all. After that, many of them became devils and something like that. And then the God knows that why these things are happen, and they try to find it out. After finding it out, they came to understand that the Fudong thing, the first male, and the Nuzongyu, the first female, they had made the mistake, and because of as a result of their mistake, these things has happened. And then they had been called out, and then at last they give birth to a Namsim Nambamkup, which Namsim Nambamkup is our ancestor who came to who came to settle in the Mayal Molok Liang. And from this Nimsim Nambamkup, the generations that came up is we, the human being, and Lepcha. And this is our belief that we are originated from this particular Mayal Molok Liang, which is situated in the lap of Mount Kanchenjunga. And we are not coming from some other part. Rather, our races might have migrated to some other part, but we are not migrated from the other part of the thing, because every mountain, every rivers, and every hill tells our original history, tells about, narrates our the creation of our fact. This is all about the origin.
Thank you so much. So it's not like you are a foreigner to the land, but you belong to the land, and you are born. Born here. The origin is here only. I mean, this definitely there are many stories attached with the origin, as you narrated, JJ. Is there any documented proof also about the origin, or is it through oral stories that we know about the origin?
Yeah, since we are a tribe and we don't have that documented things and all, but this is an oral story which has been, coming after generations and generation. Our forefathers tells us, and then it goes like this.
Lovely. Thank you so much. So JJ, why don't you in the meantime share about how the living culture of the Lepcha community looks like.
If I have to compare the past way of life and the present way of life, there is a vast, changes. Slowly the changes are occurring. Originally, we believed in nature as I already said, and the main source of our culture is Bungting, the monism, that is called animist. We worship nature. So whatever we do, it is based on the nature. So suppose if you have to do some cultivation also, we will wait for the signals of the nature. Like we believe in a Mayal bird. For example, if you have to do some cultural work, say agricultural work, in our legend it is said that one of our what you call the hunters, while going for a hunting, he reaches to that Mayal place, and from there he bought the different kind of seeds and all, and he brought that seeds to Mayal Muluk Liang, that is our present Sikkim, and from then only we have started showing the seeds. And now before coming from that Mayal Liang, the people from that Mayal Liang, our ancestor, who who told him that when you reach to your place, and we are going to tell you with the time that when and where to show the seeds. And then from they send us with varieties of birds and all, and according to that seasonal birds we do our cultivations and things like that. And beside this, before whatever the product that we produce in our daily life, we first offer it to the nature god and the master of the crop, and then only we start eating. So these things are happening in the traditional age, and even in this modern days also, even today also, we continue worshipping to the nature, although we do the agricultural farming and everything. Now before without offering to the nature god, we are not going to eat anything. So likewise, in the olden days, our life is completely depend on the nature, especially the use of ethnobotanical plants, medicinal plants, and many more. And the food habits, the clothes that we wear, the way we live, the houses that we build. But now in this, modern life, in this modern days, of course, we carry some of that cultural heritage along with us, but still then we are influenced totally by the globalizations. People are getting more educated, and people love to go with, like more comfortable life, more luxurious life. And because of that, people are moving from the rural area towards the town area, and slowly they are, forgetting our age or culture, the old way of thing. Even many of our the children's of nowadays, they are, they speak more comfortable to speak English, Nepali, and some other languages rather than speaking our own culture. This has become a treat for our culture and language and everything nowadays. Besides,
so what is the language? What is the original language of Lepchas?
Our Lepcha language, we speak Lepcha language, and we call it a wrong ring. And we have our own, script called Rong Cho Ming. We have 10, vowel sound, and about 28 consonant sounds. And it is based on Tibeto-Burman language. Our population is so less in comparison to the other communities. As per 2011 census, Our population is about 76,000, something only. That includes the Lepcha population of Darjeeling Hills and Sikkim, and few more thousands are found in Bhutan and what you call Nepal.
I'll now go to Varel. Varel, you have worked with the community. Uh, so, from your perspective, I would like to know how does the living culture of Lepchas look like? For example, their homes, dresses, religion, jewelry, utensils, weapons, headgears.
Okay, so regarding the dwelling of Lepcha community, traditionally the Lepcha live in a local house called Li. A traditional home is made out around 4 to 5 feet above the ground or silt. The wooden house with thatched roof is natural air conditioners and eco-friendly. It is interesting to note that the traditional Lepcha house has no nail used in the construction, and it is seismic movement friendly since the weight of the house is rested over a large tablet of stones and not planted in the soil. If we consider the clothing of the Lepcha community, the customary Lepcha dress is only seen in the socio-cultural functions where it is worn with much pride. The traditional Lepcha clothing for men is the dumpra. It is a multicolored hand-woven cloth pinning at one shoulder and held in place by wristband, usually worn over a white shirt and trousers. Like the medieval dress of the Romans and the Greeks, the length of the lepcha male dress reaches between the knee and ankle. The typical lepcha dress design or pattern has vertical lines of varying thickness and colors. After wearing, the patterns beautifully drop from the shoulders all along the chest. The traditional clothing for lepcha women is the ankle length dambun, and also called damdian or gada. It is one large piece of smooth cotton or silk, usually of a solid color. When it is worn, it is folded over one shoulder, pinned at the other shoulder, and held in place by a wristband. A constructing long sleeved blouse may be worn underneath. They also take bag popularly known as tiangi. It's a part and parcel of the lepcha dress. By lepchas going to field, river, woods, markets, or any such place, tiangi or their traditional bag they always carry. It is generally hanging by his or her side. Along with, if we consider the jewelry of Lepcha community, then the Lepcha females show a certain amount of liking towards jewelry and ornaments. It is called Pansan Palan in Lepcha. They have the wide range of jewelry and ornaments such as jit, kakyop, nanchok, sambrang bor, tagvil liak, etc. Zet is a silver pin that is stuck into the dumdian to hold it on both sides of the shoulders. Kalyup is a single silver ring worn on the finger. Namchuk is the earring. The jewelry includes enormous silver earrings, set of turquoise, a semi-precious stone, and necklace of red and blue glass beads. Cow, a silver amulet normally worn by mature women with panzin, a silver chain hooked to the amulet, and especially sambrang board, silver chain with a sambrang flower design, fastened by the side of her right waist. Kakal, a bangle, and tagvil layak, a necklace made of fine, intricate cane splits, designs, and patterns. It has been also found that old women wearing necklace made of silver coins to enhance her charm, beauty, and personality. Turquoise is one of the oldest gemstones and has been used for thousands of years by many communities. There are so many legends and myths surrounding this gemstone. The power of turquoise is focused on communication and a connection to the spiritual world. It is a powerful stone that was prized for its power by many civilizations all over the world. Z is one type of stone beads. It is associated with their necklace also, but its origin is still uncertain to us. It is worn as a part of our necklace and sometimes as a bracelet. In several Asian countries, including that of Tibet, the bead is considered to provide positive spiritual benefit. These beads are generally praised as protective amulets, and others sometimes ground into a power to be used in traditional Tibetan medicine. Another one aspect which are related with their culture, their traditional culture, that is utensils. Among the Lepchas, most of the utensils commonly used belonging to forceps, cups, spoon holders, containers, different types of containers, different shapes of containers, different kinds of baskets, etc., used in maintaining their daily livelihood. Most of them were built from bamboos, though there are some wooden utensils they have with them. Nowadays, in most of the Lepcha households, they use the aluminum utensils as well as Chinese crockery instead of using their own ethnic items. So these are the recent developments. Another one thing is that weapons, if we consider the weapons of Lepcha community, during medieval and later period, they used different types of weapons. Nowadays, there are some weapons which used by the Lepcha people during their hunting process, such as Kung Dar Truk, Sutung Song, Barmok, as well as Sizung, etc. If we consider another one interesting aspects of their culture, their traditional culture, that is their headgear. It is locally known as Somok Thakthuk. The Somok Thakthuk or Lepcha traditional hat is unique and exclusive to the Lepcha community. It is one of the oldest forms of the craft. The hat formed the headgear of the royal soldiers, later on Sikkim guards, during the regime of Chogyal dynasty in Sikkim. Lepcha people wear this hat in marriage ceremony and other occasions. Whenever they go to any occasion organized by other tribal communities or their own community members, also they prefer to put it on their heads as a typical identity of Lepcha community. It is the symbol, they believe that it is the symbol of their community. They feel proud for it. They also use another hat during hunting. It is known as Papri Thakthuk. Another one important issue which are associated, that is their religion. So the religious orientation of the Lepchas of the North Sikkim may be classified into two categories. One is the Mon religion and another one is the Lamaism. Mon is the traditional animist and shamanistic religion of the Lepcha. The religion Mon is so named after the nomenclature of the priest of the Lepcha usage, that is Mon. It predates 7th century Lepcha conversion to Lamaistic Buddhism. The Mon religion rests on their traditional belief in spirits. Together with Bungthing, Bungthing means is another one Lepcha priest, but lower in rank than Mon. Mon comprise a central element in the religion. Bungthing is also called as Padam. The Mon religion coexisted with Mahayana Buddhism since its arrival in the 7th century, with practitioners following both religions simultaneously. Mon is essentially animist, and the natural environment provides much of its basis. Naturally occurring spirits are an object of ceremonial dedications, and they reside in objects such as trees, rocks, and rivers. If we consider the Lamaism, then Lepchas are believed to have readily adopted Lamaism by not its individualistic ethics, as their ethos is based on socio and communal lines. Lamaism is the mixture of several elements. The chief element is Mahayana Buddhism with an admixture of Tantric Hinduism and Tibetan-born religion.
Thank you, Varun. JJ, in the meantime, let's talk about the social structure of the community. Is there any head of the community? And if at all, yes, then how they're chosen? Do they have a team to support the work of the head? And what is the role and responsibility they have?
Lepcha community, our social structure is, as per our social structure, we don't have class in our community. Everybody is same, but I have, came to tell you about the social structure of 3 different ages. Now, before the 13th or 14th century, before 13th, 14th century, as it has been, discussing since from the beginning that Mun or the Bungting, these are the, the main, the main, the main source of our thing. They are the leaders of the society. And before the 14th century, our community is headed by the Mun and the village heads. We call it Liang Ganbu. Now, basically, our community, as I had already told you, that there is no class, but then our community is a patriarchal society, and each society is the thing is, our society is divided into different clans, and each clan is headed by the most senior-most, the senior-most person of that particular clan. If anything happens, if anything needs to be conducted, or whatever things to be done needs to be solved, it has to be done by the full authority has been given to the head of the clan, sitting with the village head and the Bungting. Everything is being decided. Now, after the entry of this Chogyal dynasty, the social structure has been changed, and the Maharaja or the king of the Chogyal dynasty has appointed tiers of, they had created the new system, which is called Mukter in the top. Mukter is followed by Mandal system. After Mandal, this is our own local governing system. Mandal, then Mandal was assisted by Gyapon and the Yumi. This Gyapon, Yumi, Mandal, and Mukter, these are all selected from the village elders only. Under the Mukter, 3 to 5 villages has come under one Mukter. The administration of 3 to 5 villages has been will be looked after by the Mukter, and under this Mukter, one village, one mandal from one village has been selected. That mandal will be assisted by this Gyapon and Yumi, and all this tier, they control and look after the law and order of the village, the law and order of the village. Suppose, say, if there is a dispute in the village, they will look after they will settle the disputes of the village, marriage, death ceremonies, whatever, they will look after. It is their function. Any religious, religious functions that is to be organized within the community or within the society, and it maintains the law and order. Now, after this, when Sikkim came under the Indian Union, again, this Mandal and the Mukter system has been abolished. And we still have this Gyapon and Yumi system still working in our society under the incorporation with the Panchayati Raj system. Beside this gap in the Panchayati Raj system, we have our own village governing system called a community organization in a village that called Samaj. And in this community system, we have the president, secretary, treasurers, and the publicity secretaries. This Gyapon and Yumi will certainly fit into the the publicity part of the thing, because if anything has to be organized in a village, then this Gyapon and Yumi they will be assigned to organize, say, Kanchanjunga offering. We say if we have to organize any function based on nature worshipping, whatever in the function that Gyapon and Yumi will organize in a community function, they will organize, and still it is working. And this Samas along with this Gyapon Yumi, we have our own responsibilities. Again, their work is to maintain law and order of the village. They fix the rate of the community commodities which has been produced in the community and to sell. And beside planning, ground level planning, like suppose if Panchayat has to call for a Gram Sabha, before the point has to be placed in the Gram Sabha, we the people sit together along with this community organization. They pass the points, and then only it is placed to the society. Beside this, anything disputes, whatever the disputes happens in a village level, the disputes we will first try to manage that dispute within the community, and then only the thing has been, anything which is beyond our limitation only has been forwarded to the Panchayat and the police for the FIR. Besides this, everything we settle within our village by maintaining our own, laws, bylaws and all. So in this, again, we have the participation from the old age, the retired person in the society, even the government employees, young educated persons. Among these, they were selected, they will participate, and they will formulate the village level administrative system, and even any government facilities that has to be reached to the needy people also gone through this society. And it is elected democratically, and they have a tenure for 3 years. So this is how our social society functions.
It seems such a mature and evolved social structure, I would say, JJ, because it is chosen by the people, and it is not like a monarch. That is definitely a very good part. And there is also a role for youngsters who are educated. That is also a very phenomenal thing, that to acknowledge the youngsters who are knowledgeable, who are looking at the world little differently because of their knowledge, definitely. And of course, youth has a lot of potential to take forward things which at times the older generation is not able to do. So it's such a nice social structure, and it is good that things are resolved within the community first before they are actually taken out of the community, if that case happens. And I would request now JJ to just run through this, because you have given your own take, and if now JJ can also give her own take on this, it will be nice, because we see the houses are actually quite architecturally well designed and sophisticated. So JJ, could you please throw some light on how these houses are planned from inside?
Yeah. The first one, the above one, that is actually very traditional, the Lepcha traditional base house is that one. But the roof here, you can see it is rectangular and tin roof. It is rectangular in shape. Now, the actual Lepcha houses are oval in shape. Roofs are of oval in shape. And we have 9 pillars, the big pillars made up of, the whole body of the tree, big tree, which is erected not from the inside. First, we make the ground, then place 9 different stone, flat stone. On that flat stone, the pillar has been erected. The pillar which was erected in the base will go till to the rooftop, and they had been knotted into like make knot like this without using a single nail. It's it's a very unique, what you call, architecture you can see over here. 9 meters, a very big site, not even to erect it, not even dig the soil, placing on the stone, goes till the roof and lock among each other, making no nail. So this is how this type of houses are being made.
And is the
And it has got three storage. Down floor. Down floor is used for keeping animals and storing things. In the middle floor, where the people lives, and even we have the upper roof floor, where we keep our valuables and the things are being kept up there.
So is kitchen and bathroom part of the house inside, or it is outside?
Kitchen is inside, bathroom will be. In the older days, bathroom is, I can't see the room at all.
Okay.
But we, attached by the house, there is a certain, platform type of thing which is made up of bamboo only. And there they do the, cleaning work, basin types of things are being done out here.
So usually, how many rooms are there on the first floor?
Three rooms. One is for kitchen. One is for altar. And there is a very small room called, the altar room is we call rumbo, where the pujas, offerings and everything is being done. And kitchen room, thoptong, where thop means the stove, 3 stone being erected. That is called thoptong. And a small called bo chung. Bo means room, chung means small room where we store the food, whatever the things we need to be stored, like valuable things, especially are stored in it. Bo chung. So and we have a big, big baskets of bamboo being kept. Inside that bamboo baskets, we kept our, the crops being collected from the field is being stored over there.
And since you said that there is no, let's say, layers in terms of the hierarchy of the society, so does the room, the house size varies for different people, or it depends on the money they have, or like how does it work?
Yeah, it depends upon the money that they have. The thing is that it is made by the community. People, suppose if I have to build my house, all the community come together and they help and build it out.
That's the beauty of
and this trend still we have. Even suppose if I have suppose I have to cultivate my field today, then I will say that yes, I have my cultivation today. Each person from each household of the society will come and help us. This sense of cooperation, helping together and making the things is always available in our society, in the past and even in the present. I hope it will continue in the future also.
Amazing. Varun, can we move to another slide?
Yes, ma'am.
This is about the clothing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, JJ, would you like to throw some light?
This male hat, that what else I was talking about, one sumok taktuk.
Yes.
Sumok taktuk.
Yes.
It has, this is made by two type of bamboo. One is po, and another one is poyong. Now I can give their scientific name right now. Po is the major, we have varieties of bamboo found in our society, but po is the main bamboo, which is abundantly used by the Lepcha people in making their craft. And this is made up of very fine thread being made out of this po and poyong. And one of the dyeing artifact. This was, about 10 years ago, we have only one weaver of this Sumok Taktuk. And I have my organization called Mutanchi Lom Al Sejum. In short, it is MLAS Zongu. We try to find out the dyeing artifact, the artist. And through our survey, we could find only one person who can weave this. And after finding out, we come back and we approach with the government. We approach with the industry department, government of the Sikkim, and organize a short-term training course. And then we had been able to give a training to at least 2-3%. And now we have at least 2-3%. And again, we tried to link it with the industry department. That is called DHS. What is DHS? Cottage industry. Under the industry department, Sikkim, and now we have one instructor, and that instructor was trained from that one person, which was the training which was organized by us, and now he is working there as a trainer of this Sumok Taktuk at Gangtok in DHS. And beside this, we have one more person who continuously making this hat, and he also have some more students who are learning and now started producing the things in his or her own level. Otherwise, this artifact might have died by now. And this is the hat which is specially used by the respected persons. And later, this was especially the officialized hat used by the Sikkim Guard during the Chogyal dynasty of Sikkim. Now in the hat, you might have seen that symbol of the moon and the sun. This is a sort of our own belief that, and actually there is some mountain ranges are also seen in some of the part, because we believe that we are the offspring of the mountain and the thing. And we believed in the lunar calendar, especially this moon and the sun symbol. We even use in that Jasung. I have one here. Here also we have inscription of moon and the thing. These are specially used for, when the lunar eclipse and solar eclipse occurs, we put this in the water in a, brass vessels and keep it outside, facing the sky. After that, we bring it, and this will be used in the treatment of the side effect of this lunar and the solar eclipse. This is how our people, inscribe the things in their traditional dresses.
Phenomenal. And JJ, another phenomenal part is that you are able to actually sustain the tradition of weaving. I wanted to ask, these hats are made now only for the consumption of the community, or are they sold outside through the government channels, handlooms and all?
Department is also producing, and even the village level weavers, they are now starting. But the thing is that because of the lesser number of the craftsmen, the demand is not fulfilling. There are lots of demands coming, but because of the lesser number of the craftsmen, the demands we are not being able to, fulfill the demand. So for this, we are now encouraging our youths to have a special training on this part, and then we will try to increase our product so as to meet with the demand of the consumer.
That's a very positive sign that you do have the demand more than you can supply, which actually encourages there is a forward path, because youth usually do not want to engage with things which does not yield them result, because they need to have some sustainability financially, economically in their life. So
because to make this hat, one person almost needs 60 days to complete it. One of the kind of the bamboo that I told you, the poyong, that is found only in the steep rock area, in the forest. One has to collect them, only one needs a full day to collect, went into the forest collecting it and coming back. And making the fine thread out of it, it will almost take 1.5 months to complete one hat. So that is why it is getting more and more difficult to complete the demands.
Totally, I can understand, and I wish that there are more people employed in actually this, because skill is something, because education is not the only thing that we can sustain on. Education is important for our capabilities to reach a level that we can learn a lot of things, but skill is most important. And with the community having such a wonderful craft, such a difficult craft, I would say it must sustain. What can we move to the next?
It has got a pattern, a very unique pattern. Based on the pattern, only that has got a name called Samok.
Yeah, Varel, you were saying something.
I just wanted to add one thing that Madam was telling about the Po variety and why it is important in Lepcha culture, because during their it is mentioned in their creation myth that during their staying at Mayan Liang, the first male and female of the Lepcha community, that is Nuzungnu and Pudungding. During that time, they used the bamboo items such as loom and hunting implements, and those are made of the Po variety. And it is the scientific name of that variety is Hamilton bar. And another one thing is that Lepcha people believe that the notes of the Po variety signifies their clan. That is why there are a number of clans in their society. And I have found during my study at North Sikkim, it has been collected from the community person. Okay, so that is why this Po variety is very much important among the Lepcha community.
Thank you so much. Can we move now to the next slide? Yeah, I'll take 1 or 2 questions have come in between. I'll take as we reach to the jewelry part. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So these are some of the bags you were showing.
Yes, ma'am. They are traditional bag. This is the part and parcel of their clothes also.
Let's move to the next one.
Yes. Okay. Their ornaments.
Okay. So there's a question here which maybe JJ can answer. It is from Anuradha Gupta. She is saying, my Naga friends had told me that their jewelry often have a specific significance. The wristband that they gifted me was different in color and patterns from those they gifted to my mother. Do the Lepcha jewelry and attire have such distinctions for the married and unmarried or people of other social ranks?
In our case, we don't have the much, like that identification mark of a married woman. But then these are the ornaments being used by the married women. Especially, there is one band called Sambrangbur that Varel Sol was telling before. This Sambrangbur actually, it is used by the married women, and this has got, at the end, there is a key ring type of thing where young widowed women were given to, keep the charge of the houses. Besides we don't have that much of, you know, like that special things for the married women and unmarried women. We don't have that of the thing.
Okay. Thank you. So I see a lot of silver in the jewelry. So is silver found around the place the community is, or it is imported from somewhere?
These are all imported.
So is there any?
One is that one is Jasung, for which I had already told you it has got an inscription of the moon and the thing. The below one is made up of the canine teeth of kind of mammal living in the Himalayan region. These are again specially used for the treatment of some, you know, some sort of ailments and all. Especially the Lepcha people depends on you know, wild foods and all. Some of the wild foods are sometimes they are poisonous. So for the treatment of that, use this.
And this silver was part of the jewelry from the
This
ancient.
is not silver.
No, not this one. The previous one. So the silver was part of the jewelry from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. Please move.
This is air top. This is golden one. This is also traditional one, Lepcha type.
So these are all handmade jewelry.
Maybe in the olden days it is handmade, because we used to have a small sort of top made up of the, you know, bamboo threads and bamboo bits. And this is the flower pattern. This is complete type.
And this is, you would keep it in the modern design, or it is the older design?
This is older one.
This is older one, which also seems quite sophisticated to my eyes. Vorel, please feel free to add anywhere that you would like to add.
No, ma'am.
Okay, please move.
Okay.
Two type of, you know, knife. The upper one is called komban. Komban, that was used during the special occasion. Komban. Here, and the upper one, here also you will find one, the inscription of the stars, the moon and the thing. And it is used by the respected person, especially in the functions as an, you know, for what, ornamental type. And below one was banpok. Banpok, this is used by the craftsmen, the field workers, and the hunters and everything. This is for common use.
At this stage, I would like to ask you, JJ, that is there any specific role for women in the community? Like what position and role women had in the community?
Although our society is a patriarchal society, but women have got a very important position in our society. Since from the time inception, as we were talking about the main, you know, like the main, the things of is in our society is moon. Moon is a women-based, you know, healer. And women's plays women plays equal role in all the field. Either it is in the agricultural field, or it is in the religious field, or it is in the marriage, or whatever the social function. Women are very much there as a participants. And even, you know, the only discrimination that I had seen to the women in our society is that we were devoid of we don't have the right to claim the landed property of our parent. Beside this, women has been respected in the society. Even, you know, there's the, you know, like what you call widow remarriage system, you know, it was there in our ancestral time also. In Lepcha society, no woman is left widow, because we have a system called amok angop. Angop means whenever the, you know, whenever the husband dies, the girl party will demand, girl party will ask to the boys party that now my daughter is became single. Now it is your duty. You have to, you know, either you have to give one person to remarry her, or I will have to find another person to make her life supporter of her life, like this. So we don't have any other than discrimination. Although some educationally women were lagging earlier, but now women are more forward than the male. We are already empowered. Even if we see the statistic, we have our women's are the educated, you know, if you compare the male and female in that scenario, our women's are more educated than the men, more forward than the men, because we have women politicians. The Lepcha women have the member of legislative. We have the member of legislative assembly from a Lepcha community. We have a designer. We have a social activist. Even we have a Padma Shri Awadi. We have Miss Kipu Sering Lepcha, who is from Gangtok, retired social activist. She is accommodating more than 200 children, you know, and she is Padma Shri Awadi. Besides this, we have a designer. We have a women in every field. We have doctor, we have engineers, everything. So now the discrimination is not seen. Rather, our society demands for, you know, what you call, more men to empower equally to the women's.
Which seems very which seems sign of very progressive community.
Yeah.
But
even I have talked about the social organization, social organization in the society level also. We have the women representatives, women representatives who are working very actively there. Even in the what you call village, you know, like family sustainable developments, income generating programs also. Even, you know, for the matter of fact, even today, if someone comes and organize a certain, you know, like say a meeting or say any training programs or whatever, nowadays, more women's participation are seen rather than the participation of male in our community, especially in my area called Jongu.
Which is again definitely very important. But at the same time, do you see that women becoming head of the community in coming time?
Yes, we have Panchayat, women Panchayat president. Even we have Samaj president. Even we have women who is becoming the president of certain organizations. You know, we have Sikkim, Sikkim Voluntary Health Association, which was led by a Lepcha woman called Dr. Henriette Lepcha. This is our proudness.
Lovely. This seems a case that should be presented to many other communities, because it is a very good sign, very progressive sign that women are in the decision-making role and not in only in the supportive role, which
we
is
are in the forefront.
Yes, and there is a question I would like to take at this stage. This is about the social structure only. Could all 5 villages that you mentioned send a mandal to the Mukhtar, or one village out of the 5 was given priority to form the mandal?
Every village has got one mandal.
Hmm.
Every village is represented by one mandal. But now this social structure is of of ancient time, where I didn't find any women who is playing as a mandal. But one mukter, under one mukter, the king has allotted 3 to 5 villages, and then this mukter assign one mandal from each village, who has been elected among the village elders, called Liang Ganbu. We call it Liang Ganbu. Liang Ganbu means village elder. And those elder, this mandal and the mandal will collect the revenue of this place, and then rush it to the mukter, and mukter will bring it down to the king or the royal place.
So did the Mukhtar belong to any of these 5 village?
Yeah, anyone can be selected.
Can be selected by the king.
Yeah. My own great grandfather was a mukter once upon a time.
Lovely. Let's move on now, Varun.
Yes, one another aspect that is, Madam was telling about the women empowerment and other thing. There one craft specialization that is their weaving. It is female dominated.
Yeah.
So it is one of the important aspects, because they are very much specialized with this kind of weaving, and those designs which are very much precise in nature, and they need a good or controlled hand to do it. This is only for that women folk of that community. So this is another one aspect.
And in the screen, on the screen I see that are the priest women?
Yeah.
Yes.
Bungting. No, he's a man, male.
Male, okay.
And upper one is
the dresses
female.
that we wear are all weaved by the women's.
Yes, exactly.
So there is a question I'll take at this stage. This is there any religious text based on the mum religion or oral tradition? Another question is, silver coins was only part of jewelry or were also used for as a medium for exchange, like as money or?
Yeah. Silver coin is used for the the other business purpose also, exchanging things also, and it is used in the religious purpose also, and it is also used as a ornaments also.
And the second question, that is there any religious text or it is only the oral tradition?
As far as the Moonism or the Bungtingism is concerned, we have only the oral system. There is no written record. The language, which is used by the Moon is very different from the dialects that we are, speaking. They use different, very, what you call, figurative and floristic language. Everything is based on the description of the nature, the plants, the animals, the mountains. Everything is being incorporated inside, and quite difficult to understand.
So is there any effort in documenting all these oral traditions, stories attached with it? Now at least, are they being documented?
Now slowly we have started to commenting it. Some of our writers, some of our researchers from our own community, they are coming up with the books and all.
Let's move on, Varun.
These are the utensils, mainly made of bamboo, sometimes used for storing the cooked food, or sometimes used for storing the vegetables and other things.
So we'll now actually move on to the importance of bamboo and how the community is reserving the forest for bamboo and also the craft. So if we can just weave in these also when while you're showing the slides.
Okay. Okay, madam. So what's the question, ma'am?
I'll just say it again.
Hmm.
So what is the importance of, I was asking you that is the community now, how are they preserving the forest of bamboos for usage of it for craft and for other things like uh, your dresses and utensils. So how are they preserving the forest?
Okay. The thing is that they are mainly associated with forest. If we see their myth and other things, because from time immemorial, they are in that lap of Kanchenjunga, and that is that Jambu Reserve area, their homeland. They believe it, and uh, this area is mostly associated with Lepcha community, and you find a huge number of Lepcha concentration is in this Jambu Reserve area, as well as there are some myths as well as beliefs which are associated and which closely associated with their culture and as well as their forest. And if we understand their cognition about the forest, uh, they, uh, they are their own system,
Hmm.
and with the help of that system they are associated with this forest or forested land which are within their area or which are surrounded by them. And another one thing is that they utilize the forest for many purposes. Okay, say for an example, for making the bamboo basketry, to collect the firewood. But the thing is that sustainable use, they are not like us that we need one or two bamboo or one or two log of wood. For that purpose we are slicing 5 or 10 trees.
Hmm.
It is very much associated with them because they are so much systematic in nature, and they have a very good knowledge about the environment, and they don't have any idea how to harm the forest. For that background, we can say that they are the main preserver. And this preservation, the concept of the preservation or the cognition about the preservation is associated with their culture. They have not adapted. It is with them. And for the purpose of bamboo basketry and the purpose of the collection of bamboo for basketry, they collect the bamboo in and around their area or surrounding localities. But the thing is that the species or the bamboo species which are very much associated for different kinds of work. Say for an example, madam was telling about their hat, prong bamboo and po variety of bamboo. So for prong variety of bamboo, they have to go different parts of the parts of their area or the parts of the Mayan Liang or Jambu Reserve area to collect. But po variety is easily available within their area. If we consider, if we see that this kind of drinking mug, so it is another one variety, that is podium. It is also locally available. For that purpose, they don't go to other side, or for that purpose, they don't need to preserve some kind of areas which are associated with that craft specialization. So these are the things.
Hmm. I particularly enjoyed what you said. You said that they really don't know how to harm
Yes, ma'am.
their forest, because the preservation is so inbuilt in their culture that they really don't know how to harm. It is such a beautiful thing that you said, that how did we learn how to harm the nature or animal? So definitely it's a very big thing that they really don't know how to harm, and everything is so inbuilt in the culture. The sustainability is so much inbuilt in the daily practice of their sustenance, that everything is preserved. They don't harm it naturally. uh, I think at this stage, I would ask you to maybe stop the presentation, Varel, and let's move to the film that you have, because I'm keeping an eye on the time also.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the film that you made, and also if you can see a bit of demonstration on how they are working with bamboo.
Yes. So can I start sharing?
Sure.
Basically, it was a project which I have received from SAR Cultural Center, Sri Lanka. So I have taken 3 months to document all the thing, and before that, I was there for a Reiki for 15 days. So in this way, I have collected and documented, as well as there were a lot of communication with different community members, as well as different interviews were there, which helped me to understand about their community, as well as the cultural significance of bamboo artifacts in their society, as well as the myths and beliefs which are associated with bamboo crafts in this area, and different kinds of bamboo, as the understanding about their nature, as well as understanding the relationship between the lepcha and the environment. So we can say that it's one kind of bonding between them, that is we from our naked eye we are not able to see, because but they are able to see, and they are also able to tell what kind of they not tell, or they can predict the nature also, to see some kind of phenomena, to see some kind of events. They can predict the rainfall, annual rainfall of that particular area also, to see the nature.
That's the beauty of the traditional wisdom.
हम लच्चा लोग सिक्किम को मलयालम कहते हैं। हमारा लिप जो है क्रिएशन में पैटर्न मॉडल में एक लड़का और लड़की को ये फाइट जो लीनेन बोलता है, हमारा उसमें फट उंग नी सिकमत लंग ऐसा करके ये इसको मिला के, जब डोंकिंग का मतलब है शुरू का लड़का और नजोंगन्यू का वो सबसे पहले का लड़की, इन दोनों को भाई बहन के रूप में बना के कंचनजंगा के गोद में नए महल क्यों बोलता है, एक सीक्रेट प्लेस बना के उधर रहने के लिए। जब तक तुम दोनों को ह्यूमन बीइंग, जब तक जेनरेशन नहीं आएगा, तब तक तुम दोनों एक दूसरे को नहीं बोलना चाहिए, नहीं मिलना चाहिए, ऐसा करके वो दोनों को भेजा। हम लोग कंचनजंगा पर्वत का जितना भी पहाड़ पर्वत वैली है, इसको कीप से हम लोग जन्म लेके आए हूँ। लेप्चा का जो है मोटेंची रोंगकप जो है, शिमू का मतलब है ह्यूमन, मू का मतलब है माँ, तंची का मतलब है रिलेशन एकदम साथ में, वो मुतंची शिमुतंची। रोंगकप का मतलब है वेट करके रहने का, उसका वचन से रोंगकप हो गया। और अचूले का मतलब है हम लोग कंचनजंगा का गोद का जितना भी वैली है, उधर से हम लोग जन्म लेके आया है। जब फुडोंगथिंग और नजोंगन्यू को इस मयल्याम में पेट्रन मदर ने रहने के लिए इधर भेजा, तो उसी टाइम से वो नजोंगन्यू और फुडोंगथिंग के पास भी बेम्बो का जितना भी ये लुम बनाने के लिए, हैंडीक्राफ्ट करने के लिए कि उन लोगों के साथ भी उस टाइम से, क्रिएशन के टाइम से था। हम नजोंगन्यू और फुडोंगथिंग के टाइम से ही हम बेम्बो को यूज करके आए हैं। यहाँ पे ज्यादा बेम्बो 3000 से बेम्बो का वैरायटी में होता है। पू होता है, पजंग और प्रोंग और फोक और मतलो, रगवीत, ऐसे पसोंग 3000 से लेके 6000 तक होता है। लेकिन 6-7 से लेके ऊपर ये पू नहीं होता है और पजंग भी नहीं होता है। फिर 8-9 लेके 10,000 14,000 तक हमारा जो बेम्बो का टाइप में मिलेगा, वो छोटा वाला एक होता है, इसको पसोंग बोलता है। वो 13-14 अल्टीट्यूड तक मिलता है। उसके नीचे मिलता है कि पुरमू और फ्यूंग और उसके बाद पयोंग और प्रोंग लो बेल में भी मिलता है और हाई अल्टीट्यूड में भी मिलता है। उसके बाद बाहर से जो आया है इधर, ये अभी भी यूज करता है, गैसी बोलता है, एक्चुअली ये चाइनीज मांस बोलता है इधर, ये यहाँ का लोकल नहीं है। तो ऐसे 10-12 वैरायटी हमारा मयल्याम नहीं तो ये जंगू के आसपास में ज्यादा मात्रा में मिलता है। हम लोग जंगल में जाके जब पका के खाने के लिए कोई बर्तन का जरूरत नहीं है। ये विद जो बोलता है, वो जो बोलता है, उसके अंदर थोड़ा सा पानी डाल के, चावल उधर डाल के आग के ऊपर लगा देने से वो जो राइस हो जाता है। और सब्जी भी ऐसा करके डाल के ऊपर से वो जो लीप होता है, वो लीप डाल के उससे आग के ऊपर रख देने से वो भी पक जाता है। ये तो खाना पकाने में हो गया। और खाने के लिए जब जंगल जाता है तो ऐसे नया सूट को काट के हम लोग उसमें टी और ये जो पानी का कोई कुछ ड्रिंक का वैरायटी जो है वो यूज कर सकता है। ये जो पो है, रगवीत है, प्रोंग है और ये जो पुरमू है, परम्यक है, इसका जब सूट निकलता है वो सूट को भी निकल के हम लोग खा सकता है। उसका चटनी भी बनता है उसका, और दूसरा टाइप का ये सब्जी बना के उसको रख के धीरे से हम लोग यूज भी कर सकते हैं खाने के लिए। एग्रीकल्चर के लिए जब मेज हार्वेस्ट होता है, कार्डमम हार्वेस्ट होता है, मेरे जो भी हो हार्वेस्ट के टाइम में हम लोग 2-3 टाइप का होता है। एक होता है ये हेड में लगा के हेड से कैरी करना है, और दूसरा है ये रुपसेट जैसा होता है, वैसे लेके ये कर सकता है। और जो छोटा वाला सा मेरे और जो पैडी है, ऐसे यूज करने के लिए ये बर्तन जैसा जो होता है, मतलब हम लोग कंगार बोलता है उसको, उसमें पानी भी थोड़ा सा रुक जाता है, उसमें ये वाला यूज करता है एग्रीकल्चर के लिए। और जब खेत में जब काम करता है वो बेम्बो का स्ट्रॉन्ग वाला स्ट्रिंग को काट के हम लोग ये खेत करने के लिए भी वो भी यूज कर सकता है। और कुछ ये जो लगाने के लिए भी उसका स्टिक जो बनता है, स्टिक भी हम लोग बना सकते हैं एग्रीकल्चर यूज में। हंटिंग के लिए बो, एरो ये सब बना सकता है बेम्बो से। उसमें एक मिडल अल्टीट्यूड में मिलता है जो पयोंग बोलता है, नेपाली में गोपे बोलता है। वो गोपे को बो के ऊपर छोटा लगाने से भी उसका काफी एक मतलब उसका डेंजर टाइप का एक ये जो हथियार बनता है। और शिकार में रिवर में जाके मछली पकड़ता है। मछली पकड़ने के लिए एक बास्केट जैसा होता है, ये जब ऊपर से मछली नीचे आता है उस टाइम में वो जब छोटा छोटा सा फॉल्स होता है, स्टीम का फॉल्स, वो बस में जाके छोड़ देता है तो उसे उसमें गिर जाता है। इसके लिए फिर मछली जब एक निकलने के टाइम में जब होता है वो ऊपर चला जाता है। उसमें फिर एक बास्केट का जो बना के नीचे तरफ का मुख होगा, अंदर से फिर उल्टा करके बना के जब भी अंदर घुस जाता है निकलना नहीं सकता है। ऐसा जो होता है हम लोग फिर बोलते हैं उसको। ये वाला फिशिंग के लिए कांटा बनता है और फिशिंग के लिए जो उसका स्टिक जो है स्टिक बनता है। बहुत सा ये फिशिंग में भी है।
Thank you. I'm saying that I'm mindful of the time. We are reaching the end of our time. So, Warren, is it a possibility that people can access this film?
Yes, ma'am. It is in YouTube. So I have shared the link with Maushami madam. So people can access from there.
Right. That will be lovely because then people can watch it at their time. And I think JJ could not join us back, but we
yes, actually she told me, ma'am, her internet connection gone.
Fine, but we have completed our talk, so it's okay. We are fine with that because we actually saw how with only bamboo they're able to sustain their entire life around it, and they're practicing sustainability on a daily basis. So thank you so much, Varun, for joining us today and taking us through this journey. Wish we had more time in hand because this is such a deep-rooted talk that is needed, and there are so many demonstrations that we can see and how communities are sustaining their life such beautifully on things which are easily accessible to them. The forests are lush green; they are keeping their forests so healthy and well. I'm sure language is getting lost somewhere, but yes, with the loss of language, actually, the lot of stories get lost, which is unfortunate. So let's hope that there are many researchers now who are trying to sustain, and we at KCC are also trying to talk more and more, have conversation around these communities more and more, so that it can sustain in a larger way and not just by the local efforts. So thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, ma'am. And
Give the mic back to.
thank you.
Yes. Thank you, all of you. We have reached the end of this session. Almost everyone would agree with me that we have learned so much through this discussion today. I would like to thank our speakers, Mr. Odell and Ms. JJ Lepcha, and a moderator, our Rina ma'am, for participating in the discussion, and of course, those who were with us in the audience, because without them, this discussion would have been incomplete. I'd request everyone to follow our page on Facebook, Instagram, and our website www.kolkatacenterforcreativity.org to receive more updates on upcoming events. Once again, I thank everyone for the delightful evening we had together. Stay safe. Good night. Bye bye.